Best thing that's ever happened to you financially. Go.
Easy. Sold my car on Carvana. Amazing offer.
Really? I hit 200 on a scratcher.
Did the scratcher come to your house and hand you a check?
No.
How many scratchers did you hit to get that? I hit a button on Carvana.com once.
Okay, that's fair.
It's like the lottery, except you always win.
Not like the lottery at all, actually.
Exactly. Inexplicably good. Offers worth bragging about. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
Having the right people in your corner for life's biggest milestones makes all the difference. Like a friend who's there when you're house hunting or checking out a new ride, State Farm is there too, helping you choose the coverage you need. With a State Farm agent, you know someone is there to help you along the way. And with so many coverage options, it's nice knowing you have help choosing a plan that fits your needs, so you can continue celebrating all of life's milestones. Head to statefarm.com to get a quote. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, it's 10 a.m. and this is Utah's best sports radio.
Say my name.
You're locked on to Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
KSL Sports Zone 97.5. You're listening to Scotty G and the coach. You'll notice this is just the coach. It's usually the golden tones of Scotty G. And it's Alex behind the booth, behind the window over there. Alex, do you have your permit? Like, can we do this legally?
I think so.
I don't know if I should be out on the road like this, but we'll give it a rip. Scotty G is here. He just had, he has many duties other than just being the magnanimous show host around here. So, yeah, a little conference call at 10 o'clock, and he'll roll in. I was going to joke and say maybe he had the doctor's appointment, was waiting on a really important diagnosis, but probably not something we should have fun with on a Tuesday. Alex, how are you today?
Oh, I'm doing so great, man. Always happy to spend some time with you, Scotty, and Lloyd. However, Lloyd's not here, obviously, but still a fun time.
It isn't better when Lloyd's not here for some reason. I love his his power and all, but it's nice to have the cat's away, the mice will play kind of thing.
That's kind of what this week is for us.
It is.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it's a Scotty Music Tuesday, right? So
but I don't think he updated his playlist.
Oh, really?
I haven't seen anything come through yet, so maybe we'll
just draw from
maybe we're
the
recycling.
bank of Scotty. Well, we are we're immersed right here now in the what they call the depth of the summer. And we are definitely excited today because we got a good show. We've got some good guests. We're working on another, but right now we have Tony Jones at noon, whose life just got way more crazy. Absolutely nuts. His time out there covering the Sixers will get a little more interesting with LeBron James announcing that he's going to go out there. And so we'll pick up with Tony, see what the buzz is in Philly, and then B, what his plans were for the year and what they're actually going to be, because I think Philly's going to be right in the midst of it. So we're excited to have him. And then we also have Bill Bender. Tell us about Bill Bender, Alex. You booked that one.
He writes for the Sporting News. He's deep inside Big Ten territory, and so he follows and watches a lot of the Big Ten. And then obviously today is Big Ten Media Days, and so a lot of people are tied up with that. But he was more than happy to jump on and talk about what's going on at Big Ten Media Days as well as what's going on in the world of college football, because yesterday was a crazy news day when it came to college football. And I'm sure that will continue today as Big Ten Media Days rolls on. And Tony Petitti's at the stand right now talking, and so we'll see what they have to say.
One cool thing coming out of there, and I'm sure we'll be on it, is Kyle Whittingham will represent Michigan for the first time at the dais. At the dais, as Scotty approaches the dais. But yeah, Kyle will get his thoughts on Michigan, and Michigan football has been a fixture here in the state. So it will be great to catch up and see what Kyle's got going. So a good show, and we're also working on, I don't know if it's going to be today, but I'm going to leak it because he's told me he will come on. We announced last week that Brandon Davies is retiring from basketball, and texted back and forth with B, and we're going to try to get him on sometime today or sometime this week. So excited about that. Catch up with Brandon, see what he's been up to, see if he if he learned any foreign languages, and certainly another European friend of mine.
Do you like B or do you love B?
I love B. Anybody with a B?
Love you, B.
The love. You know what, dude? The truth is, I love everybody.
I know you do.
It's just the fact of the matter.
Even when a guy shows up late for a show. I appreciate that.
I told Alex, I said, I do believe this is part of a training that hasn't been told to me. Like, okay, we're going to let you out on the road. You got your permit, but you don't have to be with your parent this time. So I think we did 9 minutes together, and I think, hey, the show's still on the air.
That's all that matters. Just keep it on the track.
But we didn't miss you.
No, well, I had to take a quick phone call and appreciate that. But yeah, you know what? The Kyle Whittingham thing is fascinating. And I was watching an interview with him that was, showing up online, and I was just like, wow, just seeing him wear that maize and gold, or is it maize and gold?
Yeah, it's maize and gold.
Okay. Just wearing him wear those colors and have that big M on his chest. It's just like, yeah, feels dirty.
They were just, when I was in pre-show visiting with Alex while you were on the call, I looked up and they had Kyle in practice. And he had, the face he pulls.
Oh, yeah.
This one, like, I know what's going on out there, but I'm like, what is going on out there? That thing, that face. He had that face a lot.
Michigan's going to be really good, too. Like, I think Michigan is I don't know where they were ranked. Probably was it third or fourth. I think it was Ohio State 1 and Oregon 2, and then after that I lost track. But I think Michigan's got every chance to win that whole conference.
Well, we know that dude leaves no stone unturned, right? And he's got big-time athletes. He's going to have some fun with the offense, be able to kind of do some things out there. But I would bet that, it's going to be a return in some ways to the Bo Schembechler, line them up, run them over. We're bigger and faster and better than you. I think that will be part of Kyle's MO because it always has been.
Yeah.
Physicality, and Morgan talked about it too. It's going to be a staple of Utah. Regardless of how you play, you better play physical.
Yes.
And we'll definitely see that from Michigan.
Oh, yeah. Michigan's going to bring a level of physicality that will knock some people around for sure. All right, let's get to it. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Time for your starting lineup.
It's time to kick off the show with the biggest headlines of the day. This is your starting lineup on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
As you mentioned, Big Ten Media Days ongoing and a couple interesting storylines. We might just have some legislation in place before this thing's all said and done.
Crazy.
Now, it's really hard, and I know that Alex is efforting some guys to come on and help us out a little bit. There's a couple of big storylines. Number one, the what's going on at Stanford and their hope to unionize. But what this thing could look like, it is just like anything in Washington, there's a lot of pork involved, which means everybody wants to attach something to it. Everybody's look, you'll get my vote if I get this interstate in the middle of Alabama. Everybody wants to attach something to it.
It's got a lot of pork.
Yep, a lot of pork to it, and a lot of pork belly. And you can't really identify what the key elements are while having to sift through all that stuff. So that's going to be the biggest question mark of all of this is how does this affect Bronco Mendenhall? How does this affect Kalani Sitake? How does it affect Morgan Scalley? Because two of the three are at a very different level than the other one. Where Utah State is it certainly a different place in the stratosphere than where Utah and BYU is currently at. And that's just the realization of it. How does it affect the haves? How does it affect the have-nots? How does it affect the super haves, like the the Big Ten and the SEC? There's three different levels here. And Utah, BYU, they're not in that upper echelon level, but they're not certainly in a poverty-stricken area either. So there's a lot of people that are trying to get theirs. Who ends up winning out? What does it look like? How does this affect these universities short-term and long-term? But the more this thing keeps picking up steam, the more I think that we might actually get a vote on this at the end of this week or early next week.
And that would be such a shot in the arm for so many schools. I mean, the high-end schools have certainly figured out a way. Ohio State, new announcement comes out today, and we'll hit on this at some point, but they just signed a New Jersey patch deal, and it's massive. So, the end game right now is try to figure out as much revenue as possible to be able to keep things afloat, but with just a teeny bit of alteration and attacking some of the things that are causing a lot of the problems, like the transfer portal. To be able to get some of that stuff under control, I would think at a certain point would bring the money into a little bit more reasonable spot, and then people can actually plan and actually function as a university. Right now, like Utah, they went out, thinking really, really big and thinking down the road. They go do this venture capital deal. So teams and schools around the country have definitely had to stretch. But, man, this could come at a great time. Talked about it yesterday. I think it's inevitable that we're headed toward a super conference situation of some sort. And prior to that, to be able to have some guardrails, to have some things that allow these schools to operate on a premise that, is understood, because I think that's been the biggest thing. Nobody really understands what's going on. They're guessing. So to be able to have some guardrails will really help.
Well, and that's what I think everybody's just looking for. Give us some rules. Give us some guardrails as to what we can do, what we can't do. What are the loopholes on this so we can analyze it, so we can cheat, and so we all know what we're dealing with here. But I think that I think the biggest issue right now is, and this is my opinion, you tell me if you're wrong, but when I look at college athletics, to me, the biggest issue facing the individual institutions and affecting a fan base is eligibility in terms of transfers, unlimited transfers. To me, that's the number one thing that I want to, if you can go out and get money, you're worth what somebody's willing to pay you. And I understand that numbers are going up 20, 30% every year. Kyle Whittingham had some quotes that we'll play a little bit later on in the show. So I understand that there's an escalation of prices, but I'm not too overly concerned about a salary cap. I think people will afford what they're able to afford, and it will eventually, the Adam Smith invisible hand will balance everything out, and it'll get figured out. What I don't like and what I don't think is good for the sport is 60 to 70% of new rosters shifting every single year. And I think a kid, if he signs his name on a dotted line, that should mean something. I'll give you one free transfer. You get a freebie. After that, you have to sit out a year. And I don't think that's an unreasonable request. And hopefully that's a part of this, because the more you keep kids at an institution, the more you're able to allow them to really identify with their community, the community to identify with them. Fans don't have any connection with these players these days. Just nothing. There's zero there. I mean, God bless A.J. DeBonsa. He was the one guy that we knew all along was going to be a one-year rental, but he came in and embraced the community, and BYU fans will always look at A.J. DeBonsa as a Cougar. But I don't know if people understand just how rare that is. That is the exception, the very slim exception to the rule. Guys are going to fly in. They're going to play a year. They're never going to go to class. They're going to play some basketball, and then they're going to leave, or football, or whatever the case is. And it just, I have a hard time envisioning that fan bases are going to stick with their teams the more that comes into play.
No, I'm with you. And I think the other thing to consider, because you hit it on the head, I mean, familiarity has been, culture has been a big buzzword around college athletics, and we've really lost that. Guys coming in, being here for a year doesn't work out. I mean, you can go down the list. I go to Utah and BYU basketball alone in the last couple of years and list off 10 guys, right, that have just come, and for I guess, lack of a better word, they were straight mercenaries.
Yes. Yep.
They came here to be mercenaries, and it didn't work out. The thing that doesn't get talked about a lot is the amount of cost involved in all that.
Yeah.
When a guy can transfer as much as guys transfer, the cost to bring somebody out here to see your place, the cost to host them, the cost to then put a deal together and then give them the money. Again, these schools are hemorrhaging cash right now. So this would be that would be another thing that would damper down some of the spending and some of the, I guess, it's not even you want to spend, you have to, right? You have to be out there in that market. So be able to slow some of that down, I think that thing alone would really help.
Well, it's just people are concerned about players, and rightfully so. Players, they got the short end of the stick for a long time. They deserve what they're getting. I have no problem with that. The second thing is, people, you got a lot of athletic directors and presidents worrying about their institution. Nobody seems to be caring about the fans. And nobody seems to care about the product that the fans are consuming, because ultimately it's their dollars that are going back into this thing. They're the ones paying the exorbitant prices for satellite or dish or streaming that's going right back into these schools' pockets with broadcast rights. They're the ones going to games. They're the ones buying $20 beers at whatever stadium is selling alcohol, or $10 bottle of waters, or $20 nachos with fake cheese that are disgusting. Like that, they're the ones chipping in all that money back into your program. And nobody seems to be thinking to themselves, wait a minute, what are we doing to engage our fan base to make sure that we don't lose them? That they don't just say, you know what? Yeah, I'm out. I'm just going to watch my NFL team and I'm good. I know what to expect from them every year. I know how free agency works. I know how contracts work in the NFL. I'm not going to get myself emotionally connected to a player and then see him bail at the end of the year. I'm not. I just can't do it anymore. And you're just going to see fans start to turn away. And we're not there yet. We're not even close to that yet. And that's why the SEC and the Big Ten are throwing their weight around like, oh, we got all this money. Yeah, you are, but what's going to be the long-term effect of that? I think baseball back in '94 did some serious damage when they sat out an entire year, like a year and a half with their strike and lockout. And it took decades for baseball. It frankly took, that happened in '94. It really took Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire 4 or 5 years later to try to really get a fan base engaged again in baseball. That's the kind of damage you do when you tick off fans. And I think college athletics is getting dangerously close to that.
Yeah, it's why this is pivotal. And to your point, we've got a narrow window to get this to the floor and to a vote. But 35 minutes ago, On3 posted, basically it said, as reported by Ross Dellinger yesterday, conference commissioners have received a summary of bill revisions for the Protect College Sports Act. Dellinger reports that a Sunday call ending past midnight moved negotiations near a place of agreement with the leagues. These revisions center around several key issues, including 1, NIL transparency, 2, a new $20 million retention pool that schools could use to retain athletes. I love that.
Yes.
Keep guys in the school they're in. And then a proposed $21.3 million revenue sharing cap. One thing that I liked in the new legislation also floated an idea of a $5 million women's credit designed to provide additional resources for women's athletics. That's one thing, we're talking about. It doesn't say save college football, save college sports.
Yeah.
And so all of these Olympic sports, I love to see that they're being thought about, that money's being set aside, particularly for the women's side, because, college sports is an entity, and we've got to, if we're protecting, we've got to protect it all.
See, the one thing you didn't bring up, though, is transfers. And I think this is the problem that we're going to run into, is that I don't think the SEC or the Big Ten want
a limit
on transfers, because they say, okay, we got $20 million here for a retention pool. So we can go out, we can get players, and we can keep players because we can give them more than anybody else, because not a lot of schools at the G5 level is going to be able to handle that $20 million retention, let alone the $21 million revenue share. And so they're looking at a situation where we want these guys to be able to move from the group of 5 up to our level. We don't want our guys to have to go back down. And so we can keep everybody here. We can still poach, and we have the money to keep them too.
So it's just we can fish in everybody's pond.
Yeah, exactly.
And the perfect example, we talked to Eric Carey yesterday at Weber State. Say they get a Rashid Shaheed again, and he goes off for a crazy year. What's to stop anybody, right, from coming in and poaching? And that in SEC and Big Ten, certainly they want to keep those options alive. And so One thing that I also like in this, it's a Big Ten SEC request, is to prohibit institutions, conferences, or associated entities from giving high school athletes improper compensation before enrollment. I mean, that would be a big one too, because we talk about entitlement and how we've been fighting this forever. Now it's not just entitlement, it's entitlement with hundreds of thousands, in some cases millions of dollars prior to them even getting there.
Yeah.
So let's close that off too, because that's just not reality. I mean, I would have loved it if you guys would have said, hey, while you're prepping the last 5 years to actually get this job, we're going to set you up with a really nice salary.
Yeah.
And you just get your feet around you. And hey, if it comes to be you don't like KSL and you want to go somewhere else, hey, no problem. We're going to pay you anyway.
Yeah.
It just doesn't exist in the world.
No.
So why would we do it there?
There's coaches out there that were telling me, and I know you've heard it as well, that guys were asking $50,000, $60,000 just to take a trip there.
Yes. Well, and honestly, dude, this is the part that I love to uncover, because these transfer or these visits, that was a staple of the pre-NIL world. You know, if you had a kid on a visit, most schools got a kid on a visit, there was a dollar amount attached to that.
To get him there.
To get him there.
Oh, okay.
And I don't think that happened probably here very much in the state, but like, you know, guys were getting $50,000 to go on a visit back then. So I would imagine that
way
number
more
is
now.
double. Yeah. Oh. I mean, it's nuts. So all that stuff is what's trying to be, and as you said, everybody's going to find, okay, we can't pay the kid, we'll pay his dad's boss or whatever we got to do. They find a workaround, but at least that would be one thing that would stop that nonsense.
10:25, just getting started. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Garrard, Tim LaComb, also the great Alex Napolis behind the glass. As always, making the magic happen right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
G and the coach, Tim LaComb. Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. All right, it's my playlist today.
Give a little bit.
I thought you'd like this one. This is a little bit left over from my list from last week. I was, during the break, I've been scrambling around this morning, and I, you know, like back in the day when you were in college with Lloyd.
You crammed.
And you show up to class like, hey, you guys ready for this midterm? And you're like, wait, what midterm? What midterm? Like, it's today. And so you start going through all your notes like crazy. Yeah, I'm trying to throw together a list real quick.
Good number one right there. Makes Tuesday feel a little better.
This is, again, a song you just can't, like, I dare anybody out there to be like, I hate that song.
Supertramp.
Yeah.
It's not Aqualung.
No.
And I want to say, give a little bit of those Scotty golden tones to us.
I got you.
Yeah,
hey,
always.
By the way, congratulations to Justin Herbert. He and his girlfriend, Madison Beer, are now engaged. I do not know who Madison Beer is. Should I know who Madison Beer is, Alex?
No, I think she's some sort of influencer. I'm not even, maybe a singer. I don't know what she does.
Songwriter and social media personality.
Oh, look at that. Good for you. Yep. Singer-songwriter, writes, produces, directs her own pop music. She gained media attention after Justin Bieber shared a link to her cover of At Last in 2012, which boosted her subscriber count and views. So, yeah, the Biebs apparently helped her get on the scene. And now she is engaged to Justin Herbert.
They'll have, 4 fine years of marriage.
Yes. Until a very nasty, ugly divorce.
When she finds out she was sleeping with the running back.
Oh.
I mean, that's kind of crazy stuff happens in this world. I don't wish it on them.
No. Certainly don't wish that. It just, there's always that sordid stuff that comes out that afterwards you're like, eesh, not great.
Songwriter, social media, professional athlete. Got to work hard to keep that thing together.
I will say, if you really want, this is pre-Twitter days, if you really want to go down a National Enquirer rabbit hole, Google Tony Parker, San Antonio Spur teammate. Who was that? It was his dad was in the league forever.
I don't remember. I know Jason Kidd. There's a bunch of things with Jason.
Well, yeah, the Jason Kidd. Look, people forget that Jason Kidd, Jamal Mashburn, and Jimmy Jackson were playing for the Dallas Mavericks. Young 3 players taking the league by storm. That team was fun. Tony Braxton releases a song called Unbreak My Heart, and let's just say Tony Braxton becomes very popular in that Dallas Maverick locker room, it becomes not a love triangle, a love square, because there's all three players trying to vie for her attention, and it just destroys that locker room where they have to trade everybody and dismantle that team because all of them fell in love with Tony Braxton and just completely obliterated that locker room. That would have been fun to have Twitter around during that time.
To this day, Jamal Bashburn still says that ruined his relationship with Jimmy.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so the heart probably wasn't as broken as the Mavericks at the end of the day. Thank you very much, Tony.
I think, you know who I think the coach was during that was Dick Motta.
That's right. It was Dick Motta, former Weber State.
Yeah. And poor Dick Motta's like, I don't know what to do with this nonsense.
I'm on the latter end of things here. His social media would have thrown him into a tizzy. But I will say one thing, Dick Motta coached my guy Roger Reed at Weber back in the day. So you connect those strings.
That Weber pipeline with Phil Johnson, I mean, there's a lot of people that went through that Weber State pipeline.
Absolutely.
Didn't Jim Herrick?
Jim Herrick may have been. Yeah, I think Jim Herrick was either there or Utah State. I think he was Utah State.
Okay, that's right.
But really big-time coaches have come through. Jim Herrick was definitely looking to see. Yeah, he was Utah State from 73 to 77.
And then there was Del Brown, who thought we had Del Brown on the air, legendary coach at LSU, the guy
Shaq's coach,
Shaquille O'Neal's coach, Chris Jackson, then
Sharif
Abdul-Rahim's coach. But he wanted the Utah State job. They didn't give it to him.
It was Chris Jackson. It was Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf.
That's right.
I got the wrong.
Yeah. Nice.
Three-namer.
Good job. There's been some quality coaches that have come through the state of Utah on the basketball side.
I mean, you go to Larry Eustace back in the day. We've talked about Stu Morrill. Frank Arnold was a hell of a coach at BYU back in the day. Jerry Pym.
Yep.
Wow, we had some guys.
David James loves to tell Jerry Pym stories.
Well, I was with him at Santa Barbara. We were flying over Reno.
And he looked over at me and he said, David.
He always has these stories.
I actually think we should probably do remember that book, that Tuesday with Maurice?
This is fun with David.
Thursdays with DJ.
Thursday mornings with DJ would fill the whole thing.
Yeah, we're just like, all right, DJ, the floor is yours. Tell a story.
Okay, there was this time. Walked out my front door. Straight across the road, the Johnsons. He was a judge. To their left, I mean, he gives you every detail that you'd even need. You don't necessarily need to know he was a judge.
Yeah.
But he tells you, which is helpful.
Like, you're going to get a detail of a story, and you think that that's going to be pertinent down the line in the story.
No.
It's not.
No, it's just color.
No. One time his wife painted their house red, and he got really mad and wanted it blue. So he paid a bunch of people to come by when she was on vacation. Anyway, that blew up. So back to the story.
First time a husband's ever filed an injunction against his wife. No more paint, babe. Till the judge says it's time.
So we saw the story about the jersey patch for the Big 12. The Monster Energy drink gives the Big 12 conference, I think each team's going to make about $1 million off of it. Well, Ohio State decided to enter the chat.
This is a check raise.
And said, you know what? That's cute.
That's nice.
We're going to go with this bank that you may have heard of called J.P. Morgan.
They're kind of a fledgling bank.
J.P. Morgan Chase. Jersey patches for all 36 of the Buckeye teams and will yield nearly $17 million per year for the athletic program. It is believed to be the highest non-apparel corporate deal in college sports.
So JP was like, cute monster. Watch this.
Wow.
Bam.
All right, so is there a university out there that's like Ohio State's probably there where all of its sports are somewhat national relevant? Because you see teams that, like Duke back in the day, they were basketball, they were great, but football, nobody's ever going to pay attention to Duke football. UConn, same thing. So if I'm going to go all in on a school, I need them to at least be really good in one sport and then respectable in everything else. Ohio State seems to be the one that kind of fits the bill there, if I'm J.P. Morgan Chase.
Well, they certainly believe so, to the tune of $17 million a year. We talked about Texas Tech Stadium deal. And again, this is just everybody, getting in line, negotiating their deals with these big companies. They're able to do it. And I actually don't mind this piece as much. I know that it's not equitable, but at the same time, it's a free market.
Yeah.
And, J.P. Morgan Chase feels like that would be a real boon to them. So I'm all for that. And I think, we're going to see sizable deals like this with the bigger schools and not as big with others. I know BYU announced yesterday that they're doing a deal with BYU Continuing Education.
Yeah, for all their Olympic sports.
Correct. So because it's private, we're not going to really understand the details of that, nor the patch that's on the football uniform to go with the monster patch as well. But I think we're going to be Patch City. We're going to be Patch Adams.
Yeah.
Patch Adams.
Man, okay, look, I don't mind the patches.
I don't either. I actually don't at all.
The, inch by inch, square inch patches or whatever they are, I don't care about that. It's when they look like NASCAR or they look like MLS teams or, Premier League teams, when the logo of the advertiser is the primary focus of the uniform. Like that's a bridge too far for me.
Will it be like 5 years before we're there, you think?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Maybe less.
'Cause I'm just making sure. I would imagine that's where we're headed.
And if I'm J.P. Morgan Chase, it's like, you know what? You will no longer be the Ohio State Buckeyes. You will be the J.P. Morgan Chase Buckeyes.
And the funny thing is, way back when NIL first was talked about, that's what I said, is at a certain point, these entities will actually go in and claim that branding, right? And that's, at this point, it's a patch. But 5 years from now, it may say J.P. Morgan Chase with a teeny little, the Buckeye emblem on as a patch or something.
Well,
who knows where we're going?
And I think that signifies the role that academics play in this and the role that advertisers play in it. Academics is about a inch square jersey patch. The financial and athletic part, that is the majority of why these kids are in school, which is fine. It is what it is. But come on, let's hold on to a little bit of our integrity. I mean, that cow's giving away a lot of milk for free. Let's just hold on to something. Let's just hold on to just a little bit of integrity of the good old days.
My favorite thing about the at least the iterations around here when corporates, like with RSL, for instance, the early jerseys have Zango across the front. It doesn't even exist anymore.
Yeah.
So that's the other part of this is, you hope these universities will last a little longer than some of the companies that are throwing patches on them. But this was approved in January this year by Division I to generate money. It's another avenue to generate money and a home run right there for Ohio State in all ways.
Well, and again, it just goes back to the whole adage of the haves and the have-nots. J.P. Morgan Chase is not giving this to Western Kentucky. They will give it to Ohio State. Western Kentucky will have...
like Forest Regional Bank.
Yes, and will make probably $100,000 or $200,000 a year, whereas Ohio State gets $17 million per to slap on a patch, and that's it. God bless America.
God bless America. Is that on your list today?
No, but maybe it should be.
Maybe it should
considering,
We're passing money around like this. Capitalism, baby.
Goodness. But, all right, so Ohio State, they set the bar pretty high. And there's going to be a lot of schools out there that if they're able to be competitive, they will release the numbers. Like, I firmly believe, I don't know if I don't think BYU did it, but I think it was strategy by somebody when Kevin Young got the contract to play at BYU.
Because it never happened before.
Numbers had never been released, and BYU never released, but somehow what Kevin Young's making got leaked out because I think everybody wanted people to know to some extent what the number was, what BYU was willing to pay. It was a message out there to say, hey, look, we are this committed to basketball at Brigham Young University. And look, I don't hate it. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. And I think this is released just to be a giant middle finger to everybody. And so if, let's say the next team gets a massive jersey patch and it's $18 million, they'll release that. If it's $10 million, they're not going to release that info. They're just not.
Nope. And if it's $700K, it's just going to be, we're doing a patch deal.
Yes, we're very excited to welcome Joe Schmuckatelli Tires.
Details of said agreement will be held private.
And if you show your ticket, you will get an oil change for half off after the next home game.
Like somebody's going to have Pep Boys on there. Manny, Mo, and Jack.
Oh, hey, you know what? All for it.
I mean,
Nobody
are there
cares.
certain industries that you probably won't throw a patch on? I would imagine that, like
Alcohol,
the Sorsby
probably.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
Isn't alcohol probably not going to make it?
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I think this is new. But January, came and went, and now we're seeing these announcements. We're seeing the stadium announcements. Just another vehicle to infuse your place with cash so you can pay the piper.
I think UNLV could come up with some interesting corporate sponsors.
Terrible Herbst. Herbs.
Oh yeah, I was thinking more like
Spearmint Rhino.
Yeah, what's that gum? Spearmint. Yeah.
Just have a rhino on there. I don't know if that would pass the muster.
Somebody would probably step in at that point and be like, yeah, well, hey, they're
Why
giving
are
us
they
a lot
wearing
of
a rhino
money.
patch?
It's just an attitude. That's that we bring that ferocity to the team.
We lead with our horn.
Yeah. 1045, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. What you may have missed coming up next right here on The Zone.
We all have routines. I'm Jabron, and with diabetes, mine was finger sticks. Sometimes I skip them because they hurt. The Freestyle Libre 3CGM changed that. It gives me glucose insights without finger sticks. Learn more at freestylelibre.us.
Finger sticks are required if your glucose alarms or readings do not match symptoms, or when you see check blood glucose symbol for the first 12 hours. The views expressed should not be used for medical diagnosis or treatment as a substitute for professional medical advice. Individual circumstances may vary. For prescription only. Safety info found at freestylelibre.us.
The best sports radio in Utah is right here, right here. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
How about this? Ohio State's jersey patch will pay more annually than the Clippers, their aspiration deal. I don't know if that counts.
I think that tree's dying.
The Kawhi Leonard jobs. But aspiration was paying $13 million a year. The Cavaliers had Goodyear at $10 million, and the 76ers had StubHub just at $5 million.
Wow. Look at that.
Whew.
I guess more sports, more exposure, but still.
Yeah.
That is a whale of a deal. And I'm excited. That's one thing, as you said, these will be released if they're good. So they can throw their hat in the pecking order of, hey, we're big. Very big.
We're not messing around here.
I
Let's
want to
go.
be as big as Norman Greenbaum, who just sang Spirit in the Sky. I mean, you don't hear, that's about all he did.
Yeah, no, that was, as far as I know, a one-hit wonder, but it was a hell of a one-hit.
Norman Greenbaum, born 1942.
Wow. Is he still with us?
He is, Norm is still with us. Still with us, a Massachusetts native, 83 years old.
I did a segment, a contest once on the radio that got nixed pretty quick by management, but it was called Dead or Not Dead. And I would list the name of somebody, and they had to choose whether they were alive or dead.
I can see that maybe that would cause some wrinkles.
I thought, look, we'll go get some money, advertising money from Larkin. Come on, we can have ourselves a heck of a time here. And they're like, yeah.
I like your vibe, though. Your vibe is we got through Monday, and Monday's always a little ominous. But Tuesday, you feel like you can roll into the week. And I feel like that's what you're giving us.
That's what I'm trying.
So thank you.
By the way, the updates of coming out on Kyle Shanahan, who was in that car crash. He suffered multiple injuries. And Chris Sims, who was buddies with him back when they were at Texas and roommates, said that Kyle's been part of a horrible accident. When you first see it and it's fresh, some of the cuts are still wide open. I mean, it's jarring, Sims said. He was this close, and he put his fingers really close together, to maybe losing his right eye. The scar is so big right here. So all that stuff was just crazy to see. And, of course, I was thinking of my friend. But, yeah, it's tough. Sources told ESPN Shanahan also broke his nose, 3 ribs, and his hand, suffered a severe concussion when he collided with an SUV in Palo Alto near his home. Sim said Shanahan is still battling the concussion, which is giving him issues. But the coach knows it could have been a lot worse. All right, so I do have I have a favor to ask of you.
Okay, I'll do my best.
As a close friend and as a co-host, like that's the thing. Like that's why when I was going through this whole process of going through our new co-host, I wanted not just a co-host, but like, a brother in arms. Like I want us to be tight. And so if I get into a car crash, and
I'll do the first 10 minutes,
and I get all banged up and cut up and stuff like that, and my wife starts sending you pictures, I don't necessarily want you to go on and like share all of that.
Well, he's got this massive gash.
His gash across his eye. It was disgusting. There was pus coming out of it. It was gross. But all I kept thinking about was my friend Scott. Like, no, that's you just trying to get more attention off of your buddy who's lying in a hospital bed all cut to shreds.
Let me tell y'all, gather around. Let me tell you all about Scotty's ailments. You almost had a real issue. I went for a little walk on Sunday. Okay? Yeah. Just around my little Murray neighborhood. And I had my pods in, listening to the set list, getting, you can walk down the street and sing really loud and people think you're crazy.
Oh, yeah.
It's fine. Yeah. Because they don't know you, and got my hat pulled down, my glasses on. So Sunday morning, I went on a walk. I was walking around, and I got to one of those instances where I had to cross, and, there was a car that came up rather fast as I was crossing. It reminded me of the story of Steve Klauke.
Yeah.
And I was out in the middle of the crosswalk, and this car, like, literally had to slam on its brakes. And I kind of turned and looked. I heard the skid and put my hand down, and my hand was on the car. I mean, that's how close he got to me. So if you're out there driving and you're taking a right, slow the crap down.
Yeah.
I mean, where are you going?
I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
So
it was the right turn that was with Klauke.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because everybody's looking left and not looking right because, the car's coming from the left. Everything's good on the right. They don't pay attention to what's going on the right, where you have pedestrians going who have the green light or the white light, and they're going across the street.
And so that was Sunday. And then to add insult to injury, last night I was taking the trash out and got stung by a bee for the first time in like 100 years.
Wow.
And it hadn't happened to me forever. And I got stung right in the ankle. I didn't have socks on. And I'm telling you, still to this second, it's killing me. Swelled up as big as my kneecap.
There was a kid in our ecclesiastical service who just got back from his 2 years.
Okay.
And he was given his homecoming on Sunday. He's fine, so I can share this story. He got hit by a car, not once, but twice on a bike. I was like, you know what? After number one, I'm probably shutting. You have a lot more faith and a lot more I'm probably shutting it down after the first one.
Send me home.
Yeah, I'm good. I
mean, that's merit is discharge. That's what I was seeking. How could I get called home early and be credited with time served?
But after two, and by the way,
don't think for a second. I wasn't thinking that the whole 2 years I was out there.
Yeah, it's like every time you're watching conference, you're like, is this where they're gonna peel it back to 18 months? Please. We save college sports. It was like waiting for the act.
You're just hoping for some serious revelation while you're out there. When my luck would say, we're going to go ahead and make it 3.
Yeah.
Because that's what my father-in-law did. He did 3 years in Denmark. Jeez. Can you imagine?
No, not at all. All right, 10:57, kick off your 11 o'clock hour next. Kyle Whittingham lays out his future of college athletics. We'll hear from him next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.